be close behind. I'll follow you into the dark. No blinding light, a tunnel and gate so wide. Just our hand clasped so tight, waiting for the hint of a spark. Heaven and hell decides that they both are satisfied. Illuminate the nodes on their vacancy signs. There's no one beside you in your soul inbox. I'll follow you into the dark. Hey, Drew here from LearnGuitarInLondon.com, and I'm playing I Will Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab For Cutie. Absolute classic folk song. Really, really love it. I've actually got one of my students to thank, Laura, for introducing this song to me. I've listened to it tons and I just had to make a lesson on it because I'm really, really enjoying it. So before we get started into the lesson, let me just tell you that to make it sound like the record, you're going to need to pop a capo on the 5th fret, okay? That's to get it at the same key as his singing voice. If you wanted to do, you could take the capo off and you can play it without the capo. So all this is going to be in, it can be relative. So we could play the song. It's just not going to sound, it's not going to sound like the record, that's all. But it might suit your voice, especially if you want to sing it. Okay, so without further ado, let's have a look at the left hand and see what I'm doing here. So here we are over on the left and right hands, and you can see got that capo there on the 5th fret. Always try to lay the capo nice and close to the fret marker, okay? It just makes it close it off really nicely. And remember, never lay your capo like this, because what you're going to do is you're going to get strings that are sounding out of tune if you do that, okay? So just make sure it's laying flat. Okay, so the first chord is an A minor. So index on the B string on the 1st fret, middle finger on the D string on the 2nd fret, and ring finger tucks underneath on the 2nd fret on the G string, okay? If you don't know the names of the strings, Eddie 8, Dynamite, Goodbye, Eddie, okay? Or develop your own system. So that's your A minor, okay? Now what we're going to do is the rhythm pattern. We're just going to spend a bit of time working on this hand. Now this rhythm pattern that I've got is a simplified version so that you can maybe attempt to try and sing it as well if you want to one day. Okay, so the actual way that it's done is the actual recording is there's some picking going on, okay? And what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be keeping it nice and simple with a sort of kind of an in-between. So it's bass note, so it's... So when I say a bass note, that always means the first string that you would hit if you were strumming the chord. In this case, in A minor, it's the 2nd string down. So we go thumb, and then I'm just using the tip of my index finger, so just the fingernail here, to strike down. Notice that it's almost like I'm pretending like I'm holding a plectrum. Okay, so you go down on the fingernail and up with the flat of the finger. Now, you might prefer using a thumb like this, and that's cool. If you want to do that, that's your thing. It's just that I prefer using a slight more attack with my fingernail, so it sounds a bit more thwacky, is a technical term. Okay. So it's bass note, down, up, bass note, down, up. So we go A minor, C, C. Now the change from A minor to C is a very easy one, especially if you haven't been playing guitar that long. So just take this ring finger, leave everything else held down, do not lift them up, and just move it up here to the 3rd fret on the A string, okay? And that's the same thing, so it's thumb. So the thumb's still playing the same bass note, but we're now on the 3rd fret there. Okay, we're then going to come to an F. Now, there's 2 ways of doing an F, okay? For those of you out there who could do the bar chord, then we bar over with the 1st finger, and then we go middle on the G string on the 2nd fret, ring on the 3rd fret on the A, and pinky underneath on the 3rd fret on the D. Okay, so that is the more intermediate way of doing it. You can also do it this way, all you beginners out there. Take your index finger, press down the bottom 2 strings, so it's a mini bar chord, then put your middle finger on the 3rd fret on the G string and your ring finger on the 3rd fret, sorry, middle finger on the 2nd fret, ring finger on the 3rd fret. And then the thumb hits, okay, so it's hitting the 3rd string down, the D string. So, ba, da, da, da. Good, so that's the F, and then we go to C again. Now you may have noticed it's slightly changed the C there, so it's C as normal, then middle finger up to hit the 2nd fret on the A string, leave the pink index here, so it's C, C/B, that's what that chord's called, okay? I'm not going to go into detail why it's called that now, but that's what it's called. Okay, and notice that I'm only doing the C for one of this rhythm and then changing it to the C/B. Okay, so that's our first line, and incidentally, this intro is exactly the same as what you play in the chorus. That if heaven and hell decide. So when we get there, you would have already been taught it and you'll already know how to do it. So let's just do that first line so far. So it's A minor, C, F, whichever way you want to do it, C, C/B. Okay, C, C/B. We're then back to A minor, very easy change, move the middle finger down, don't lift up this one, so we haven't lifted it up for the last 3 chords, and then put your ring underneath, so back to A minor, C, already done that, G. Now this G, so here's your C, the easy change is this, move your ring finger up to the 3rd fret on the thickest string, your middle up also, so you're just moving from this, and then pinky down on the on the thinnest string on the 3rd fret, and we do thumb, thumb, thumb. Okay, so we're actually holding the G for 4 passes of the rhythm. It's the first time we've done that with a chord and held it for that long. We're then back to A minor, C. So you're probably seeing a bit of a theme there. Okay, we're then going to E. So an E chord, so we've just gone A minor, C, and then an E chord, index on the 1st fret on the G string, middle on the 2nd fret on the A, and ring underneath on the 2nd fret on the D. For this chord we hit the thickest string. By the way, for the G, I'll just backtrack, we also hit the thickest string. You probably saw that, but the E is the same thing. So it's... Then we're going to move to A minor, very easy change, just move that shape down but change the bass note here. So that's just A minor, G. Okay, so we're going to go up to that point, so it's A minor, C, E, A minor, G. We're then going to go to an F. Okay, so we're going to go to an F and an F minor. Now, if you're doing the easier way of doing the F, this way, the change to the F minor, you just move your bar so you're pressing down the bottom 3 strings, move your thumb so you're picking the 3rd string down. Okay, so that'll be a little bit easier. If you're doing the full version, just lift up the middle finger. And then we're to C over G, which I'll take you to in a minute. So let's have a look at all that intro. I'll do it nice and slowly for you, just see if you can follow along. So we're starting on an A minor. I'll call out the chord before we change to it. So here we go. And A minor. C. Next one's F. C. C/B. A minor. C. G, G again, A minor, C, E's coming up, E, A minor and G and F, F minor, C over G, which I'll do in just a second. Okay, so you may have noticed that that last line is a little bit, the changes are not what we're used to before. So it's A minor, C, E, A minor, change to G, and F minor to this. Now, this chord is a C over G, which is when the singing starts. So we're going to be making our C as normal, but the difference is we're going to bring this ring finger up to the thickest string and tucking our pinky underneath on the A string. Okay, so we've got this chord, really nice chord. It's called C over G. Now the thumb gets a little more interesting when the singing starts. So we're going to go on the A string, E string, A string, E string. Okay, we're then going to change to an A minor, and we're going to go A string, E string, A string, E string. So you see I'm just changing my thumb from here to here, always starting on this one. So the C over G, someday A minor will die, I'll be close behind. So we're just doing an F, C into the G. Okay, so that is our verse, which you can use time and time again. I'll just go through that one more time. C, A minor, A string, E string, A string, F, whichever one you want to do. So it's 4 passes to the F, C, G. We then repeat. In line, or tunnels of gates of white, so on and so forth. Okay, and then we're going to get into the chorus. Now the chorus is exactly the same as the intro, as I said earlier. Okay, so we're just going to play it along. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sing it just so you can hear it in place with the song. Okay, so if heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the nose on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you and your soul in box, I will follow you into the dark. Then we're back to the C/G, okay? So that is the order of chords for that part. Then you just go back to your verse, it's exactly the same, so the C over G, A minor with the E bass note, F, C, G. And then we're another chorus, and then when we get to verse 3, it is slight, there is just one slight difference which I want to take you through. So where can we go from it? Oh, I'm down, time for sleep is now, there's nothing to cry about, 'cause we'll hold each other soon. Now, what we're going to do, instead of going back to C/B, doing the verse again, we're going to go to A minor like the chorus, in the blackest of rooms, and then we're going to hold an F. I'm not sure how many that was, I think it's 8 in total, so we go in the A minor of F, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, then we're just back to our chorus. Nose on their vacancy signs. Okay, and then our ending is then F will follow F minor to the C, C/B, A minor, F, F minor to the dark. Okay, so he sings the line, then I'll follow you into the dark twice at the very end. The first time it's F as normal, F minor as normal, C, C/B, A minor, just like we had in the verse, F, F minor, C. Great, so thanks very much for watching this. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. This is the sort of style of music that I love doing the most, kind of acoustic, sparse ballad sort of things. There's a few rock songs there at my website, but mainly it's kind of acoustic stuff. So my website has now got, I think, at least 60 plus free video lessons there that are all in this kind of style of teaching. It's all me doing the lessons. So if you go to learnguitarinlondon.com and then you just click on videos, there's a whole section of easy videos, intermediates, techniques, riffs, that sort of thing. So if you go there, you'll find a load more video lessons done in exactly the same style. You can also join my student area, which is completely free, and what the student area has is it has 10 tips for all guitarists, and it basically means that you'd be joining my mailing list where I send out hints and tips on playing the guitar. It's especially useful if you're still in your first year of playing. So all the kind of tips and advice is aimed at complete beginners who are just finding their way with the guitar, because that's what I like doing. You know, I love teaching people how to play, especially beginners. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you over at my website. Take care. Bye.